Welcome to tonight's Mindshare. We have special guests, Ronnie and Wendy Bevins. These guys are very special to us and to me especially, for a lot of reasons we'll get into in the call. But they are world-renowned as far as worldly knowledge in the realm of psychedelics, creating them, what to do with them, what not to do, how to respect them, things like that, and have been around and know quite a few things and are big mentors of mine. And I'd like to introduce them. They've been at the workshops. Created a workshop that they had brought to the Spectrum, and we are glad to have them back the next retreat in October. And I'd like to introduce my good friends, Ronnie and Wendy, if we can bring them on and see how they're doing.
Hello, Wendy and Ronnie. It's that they are just working.
Are they getting their cameras on?
Yeah.
There you go. How are you guys?
We said to get you off the mute, press your mute button. In the bottom left.
Look at that background. Wow. Let's talk about that for a while.
Unmute.
Yeah, unmute. There's on the bottom.
I see it.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome,
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. We're glad to have you guys on tonight. How you guys doing?
Excellent. Thank you. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Oh, just beautiful as always.
Good.
This is fun to be here.
Yeah, this is really great to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, you know, I've met you through Jason and you and been longtime friends, and it was such an honor to have you at the retreat to speak about the reincarnation, to speak about spirituality, to speak about your time in the eternal brotherhood of love, brotherhood of eternal love. And yeah, I just would love to hear your experience, what you thought of the retreat and the people there, and how did you guys feel about the event?
You want to go first?
I thought it was just great, and I really liked your people. They were real attentive. You know, we talked twice for over an hour, and the people were real attentive. You know, we've done a lot of talks, a lot of book signings and stuff, and we know crowds and what's up. And afterwards, quite a few came up to the table to talk to us about our one book about the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, and then the other one about us fighting the reincarnation of our children. We had about the same people come to talk to us about their lives and what had happened with them along similar lines.
Wow. I love that.
We always like to leave ourselves open for psychedelic talk because we were kind of pulled out of the hat with the movie Orange Sunshine. You see on Amazon. Orange Sunshine anyway. On Amazon, and it's about the eternal love, and if you watch it, you'll know us better because it's kind of a memoir. You know, it's a producer's movie, so they really got heavy. We were very notorious, but they really, you know, pressed up the buttons. But whatever. Anyway, it's a great movie, and that's a good introduction to us. In fact, why don't I just say it right now? We have the movie Orange Sunshine. We have our book Brotherhood Hashish, which basically is about the Brotherhood of Eternal Love, but it's a memoir of my life, and it takes you throughout my life. Every bit of my love story with Wendy is in there. Our children, how we raised them, and then our boys died when they were 16 and 19. You guys know that. So we because of our psychedelic history, because of our spirituality, we knew about reincarnation, and we knew they would reincarnate. So we made it our life's mission to find their reincarnations, and we did. We did with the help of a lot of Tibetan lamas. It was a long road, took 3 years to find the first one, 4 for the second one. A lot of people involved, amazing stories. And then we wrote a journal as we were experiencing it, and we turned it into our second book, but the third part of the trilogy, From One Life to the Next. So if you really want to know everything about us, and it's possible, if you watch the movie Orange Sunshine first, Brotherhood Hashish, and this picks up where the rest is this picks up the rest of our life, the part about actually fighting our voices. Wonderful stories, adventure stories, both of them.
Yeah, and it's a lot of history of the 60s. It really documents how things were. And it's shocking to people when they read it, how different it was then than it is now.
And all the people there that listened to us for over an hour, they had really a lot of good questions. Very interested. A lot of people bought books, and it kind of. Our second book came out in the middle of this pandemic, and consequently, we haven't been able to do book signings, promotion, nothing. We've been flat on it. And we found from your guys' happening out there that there is interest with certain crowds of people, and the ones that come to your happenings are that kind of people. So we're real happy to be there and have that experience with you guys and those people.
And everybody seems so sincere, and they weren't only focused and attentive to our talks. I mean, when the yoga was going on, everybody was really into it. When the drumming thing was going on, everybody was really into it. They really threw themselves into the experience that you guys had created. You organized all that stuff to happen in that certain order, and it worked really well for people to have a graduated spiritual experience through yoga and breathing and dancing and stuff.
Everything under the spectrum, right?
Oh, can you stand it?
Boom.
What impressed me about the crowd was that some people came by themselves.
Yeah.
There were individuals there. There were groups, sure.
There's quite a bit, actually.
Bigger groups, but we met several people, and they just, we're just by ourselves.
Yeah, they've driven long
one guy rode
distance.
a motorcycle from Pasadena. He said, "You should see."
Wow.
He stayed there for the whole 3 days. So he said, "You should see my bike with the pack."
Well, he walked away with a little backpack, and I said, "Wow, that's awesome! You really travel light." And he said, "Oh, you haven't seen my bike."
Yeah, I think we had one gentleman from Boulder, Colorado. I think that was the farther side.
I
flew
should
in actually too. I was so amazed.
Yeah, no, it was a really good gathering, and that should, I think, really spread the word that it's a good thing, and you'll fine tune it. That was your first, right?
That was the first event, and we're doing another one in October, October 15th to 17th.
Wow,
great.
Wonderful.
Not only were we so honored to have you there, but I love how you both made yourself so available there, and like you said, to answer questions and to sign books and to just be a part of the community. I think that's so special, and I can't tell you how many people came up to us and said how amazing you two are, and how much just talking with you, helps them out. And when you guys started your journeys, did you think that you would have written 3 books along by this point? Was there ever a point where you're like, they're gonna write books about us?
No, never.
That was where I fell off when I got into the promoting. What I was going to say was that, because a lot of people want to come and talk to us about their experiences, about maybe even one time they took LSD or a bunch of times, or they had a bad experience. But in general, most of the people don't have anyone to talk to, and their families don't know anything about them.
So finally they found somebody.
So that's why we put ourselves there, because what happened with us is we were kind of pulled out of the hat. We were just sitting there on it, and they came to us and they said, "Look, I think it's time we tell your story." And so they made that movie, the docu-movie, The Orange Sunshine.
Tell us a little bit how that happened. Tell us like the story about why they found you, and then who was in your group, and give us a little overview, like what you did.
I can do it. We were a real tight-knit group, and our goal was to turn on the world and raise people's consciousness so that they'd be more aware of the air and the water and the soil, and leaving a small footprint and stopping that war. We had quite a big agenda, and just wanting to live in harmony. And so that's what happened to us. And then the indictments came out. We all had to split up. We all went in different corners, and little communities and became pillars of the communities under other names. And then we all got, everybody got let off and freed after a certain amount of time and whatever. And then we were able to all get back together, and we all got back together, and we were just so happy to see each other and everything. But then we realized that there had been a lot of people that said they were us that did things that we would never do. And so consequently, we had like this kind of like shady thing that, oh, your brotherhood, you know, thinking we participated in those types of things that we never ever would have. It wasn't part of our thing at all. So we were just like, oh my God, what to do? And then William approached us with, well, why don't we document what you did do?
And clear the air, huh?
Clear the air and straighten it out.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, because none of us.
We hadn't really told anyone. Our children died without knowing our history.
Yeah, they did.
They were smoking and taking LSD, but they didn't know anything about us.
Isn't that funny? I mean, they knew.
They never saw the poster, the wanted poster.
They knew that we turned on. Yeah, they never saw the wanted poster. They knew we turned on, but they didn't know our history.
Yeah, they came in on us one night while we were on mushrooms, and they were like. Anyway, but so that's just an example, though. That's the radical part that our children didn't even know, but no one knew our story, and we didn't have any reason to tell it. Right. You know, what, because of what? You know, we were the most notorious hippie group in the world at one time. You know, blah, blah. Yeah, that's all just blah, blah. You know,
you didn't do it for the ego trip. You did it for the
mission. You're so humble. I love it.
Right?
Exactly.
We didn't even know what we were doing. We were just moving we were in the flow for about 6 years, really almost riding a wave that we never bailed or got off of, or if we did fall off, we got right back on. And there wasn't any, we never thought about consequences or writing a book, or if we would have thought about it, we would have taken a lot more cool pictures and kept a lot better track of stuff. But nobody wanted you to keep track of them, and nobody would let anybody take a picture of them. But we could have had like scenery of the you know, trips across Europe and
so after the movie came out, it ran for a couple of years. We went with it. You know, we traveled around to a lot of the showings. It won quite a few awards around the world. We didn't go though past Sedona or LA or San Francisco, but the producer went around the world with it. But consequently, we were exposed, and it doesn't matter. But we run into people, so many people that are like we were, where they had their life, they lived as a hippie, they did their spirituality, whatever, but then they got into society and no one knows their thing. So now they aren't able to talk about it. So they unload on us.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, it is really fun, and they get a chance to tell their story. Yeah. They feel good about it. And also, we find people, I took it one time and I had a bad trip, and we try to unwind that for them and try to, you know, to find out what that was. Because truthfully, we don't even know how many times we took psychedelics. I mean, it's in the hundreds. And we know the flow, we know the problems, we know the traps, and we know the solutions to get out of the traps. Mm-hmm. And we never really lost anybody. Out of the thousands of people we turned on, we never lost anyone.
Everybody had a good trip. So, and that was our goal, to make sure that the whole trip from beginning to end was a good trip. And if anybody ever jiggled or got off a little, the prayer books were there, or we were there, the music, the fire, whatever. Nature, it's wonderful. And just focus them back in, and you know, they would clear light again and then come back and make sure they had a nice re-entry.
Right. And you know, we've talked about this before, and this is basically what you're saying is you guys are very spiritual about it. It's ceremonial. And we're holding a very safe container for everybody, right? And
absolutely. It's the only way if you really want to get...
It's not a party thing. It's not like
No, and that's also people have said...
Not a competition on how much you can do or...
Right, no, and it doesn't matter, because as we found out kind of even accidentally, it doesn't matter how much you do. You're going to go where you're supposed to go.
Right. It's the journey that the medicine...
The super more doesn't... It's still, I mean... It's the rocket ship maybe has more fuel, but you're still going to get and see whatever you were meant to get and see that time.
Yeah, more like I'm saying more the intention set to be ceremonial, to do something good with what they're feeling, right? Not just have, you know, a wild, chaotic space where they can't dive deep in.
Oh no, they have to go within. You have to go within, and that's the whole purpose of lying down and letting it all go. And then once it's all gone, it's like cleaning the mirror. Then all of a sudden you can see clearly. And my thing always is to, and our thing, the brotherhood, it's not an isolated experience. It is to be incorporated into your whole life. You're learning life lessons. This wasn't like a fun Saturday. You know, you're going to be changed forever. And if you do that and incorporate each experience into your life, what you've learned, you know, you're like, I don't want to be that way anymore. And then don't be that way anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that. And gives you an opportunity to practice being the person, you know, that you've always wanted to be. Or when you turn on, you realize you weren't really all that, and you got a little more work to do. So that was our thing with it. And the reentry was so important, to be able to re-enter and realize you continue on that path of being so pure. You don't have to dive back in the gutter.
Yeah, I love that you bring that in. It's so much the intention of what we're doing with the retreats is to hold the container, and then also it's about teaching too. And you bring so much knowledge and so much grace to the process, and it's so important for people to understand that in doing it in ceremony, doing it in a safe container, to allow yourself to surrender to it, right, and let spirit take you on the journey you're supposed to go on, right? And I mean, I can say that every journey I've gone on, like the first journey I went on, I immediately knew how sacred that was. I was like, wow, I'm never going to overdo this. I will never try to do this as like, you know, more than I should, or you know, or no, unless I'm called to it, right? You know, and I guess, right, yeah. But yeah, holding that safe container and giving people the knowledge and the understanding of how to do these plants and these medicines in the right way.
And you guys created an environment for people. I think this is also why people seemed really pure at your retreat, because you created that space where they could feel comfortable. No one was judging them. They didn't, you know, they could experience who they were, their inner self. And you created that space for them. It worked. So how you did it, it was a really nice environment. And I think that's why people were so focused, so into treasuring the moment. Everybody seemed to, you know, our thing is be here now. There's only now.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, it's fully immersive. I appreciate all the kind words and the feedback, and we've gotten.
Oh, it's true. It's just all true.
Yeah, it's
a lot of help.
Yeah, for sure.
So let me back up and just give a little history about the psychedelics. We were just a bunch of kids in Anaheim. We either went to Anaheim High School or Western High School. And for some reason, this LSD came on the set, real pure LSD from from Sandoz's lab. It was vials of liquids. And we started taking it just out of curiosity, because there was a lot of talk about it. It was legal. And we at first started taking it in houses, and then we'd go out somewhere, and eventually worked our way out into nature.
And you all work.
And yeah, well, we were all working jobs. We were all immersed in society, had 40-hour-a-week jobs, plumbers and gardeners, whatever. I was a draftsman myself. And we'd meet on Sundays out somewhere like Palm Springs or Joshua Tree or somewhere. And we'd take a high doses LSD. And the experiences really were always the same. You'd take your doses, you'd lay down, and you'd actually leave your body for a while. And then the whole group would come back into their bodies at the same time. And you're in some kind of special realm where you had a lot of understanding.
And love.
And you hung out there for several hours as you re-entered. And then you left the left the nature again and went back home and went back to work on Monday morning. But we started recognizing it within each other, and that large group came together, about 30 people, all people that we knew growing up in high school, either directly or indirectly. They were either, at our Winchell's or at theirs. Right. So anyway, we got together and we formed a church up in Majeska Canyon in Orange County, and we actually had some of the guys rented an actual church building, and we started having meetings on Wednesday nights, and we'd go out on Sundays and take LSD. After a while, we realized that we could show this experience to other people. So we started gathering, and we ended up taking thousands of people.
It wasn't hard to.
And showing them the experience. And there is an LSD experience where you lay down, you go through an ego death, you become part of the whole oneness thing. You see it, you learn so much from it because you see where you really are. And then you re-enter back into your body with all this knowledge and love, and like Wendy said, a lot of other things. But that is the experience.
And then you want to take that with you.
So we were that of like a whole year. We were taking LSD every Sunday for a whole year when it was legal. And we had a good supply from Sandoz Labs of pure LSD. We were all involved with anyone that was in the world at that time. Timothy Leary, Ram Dass, those people the mushroom people. We were involved with everyone. There was people in Hollywood coming and interviewing us. They wanted to take a movie of people taking LSD. So they went to Mexico. All it was people laying on the beach because there was nothing happening.
Kind of a boring movie.
It was all inside.
That's all inside you. It was awesome.
Let's go back to Jimmy over here and lay it on the ground.
The shortest
we attracted Timothy Leary, and down the line, the Moody Blues came and had this experience. And
that's where they wrote the Timothy Leary song, was from their experience at the ranch.
Oh, wow.
A lot of those songs. So anyway, we became kind of famous, and we were pushing to make it legal. We actually formed a church, incorporated as a church, probably the only hippie group to do that. And then they made it illegal, and we got in a lot of trouble after
that. I like how you played that.
Still
causing trouble,
and so much information. Like, you can't buy experience like that. I
still
enjoy all conversations with you guys. I'm so intrigued at all the stories. I love it so much.
I wanted to ask you, no doubt LSD brings about the oneness, brings your outer body experience. How do you feel like it's affected the consciousness, since it got introduced? Do you think it's, is it, I guess that's kind of in your words, right?
It totally expanded the consciousness. And I remember my first experience, I was protesting against the war, and then we were helping kids. We realized that the protesting, that we were going to get killed, and the fire hose really hurts when it hits you, shoots you across the street. And so, the whole protesting thing wasn't working. So then we started just handing out conscientious objector cards. And then that was a bummer because we didn't really want them to go to jail because they just beat them up and everything. So then we started helping them get out of the country or live in isolation somewhere with a different name. And so anyway, that's what I was into. And then I started turning on, and the first time we took it, we didn't know. And it was really good. Blue Osley and Sandoz, it was Sandoz. And we took it, and everybody walked in. We were all outside, and everybody walked in the house. And everybody went into by the fireplace, and I just went underneath this weeping willow tree in the background yard that hadn't been trimmed or anything. And I went through that. It was like, some fantasy movie or something, through all the leaves hanging down. And then when I got inside, because it had never been trimmed for so long, it was just like a house in there. There was no weeds on the ground, and it was all the leaves that had almost made like a mattress. Well, anyway, make a short story long. I spent the night in there, and meditated and came to a lot of realizations. And when I opened those branches up in the morning and walked out to the sunshine and the blue sky, and I walked in the house and just said, this is it. This will change people's minds. This will make people see. This is what we need. Everybody needs to take this, because everybody needs to have this experience, to realize the oneness, to realize how horrible war is, to love each other, to not judge, all that kind of thing. And also to realize how precious the air is, and the soil, and our food we eat, and animals, and every time I was like, full spectrum.
Yes.
Plug. So that's how my thing was, and how I related. That's how my beginnings. And then I was on a mission to turn the world on. We weren't staying local. It was world.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if
mission, huh? That's how we kind of drew to each other. I think Jesse and I are like, we're on the same mission. It's like when we were with you and we were there, we were running together and just like in the same thing, like, all right, cool. It's just all in motion, right? And in the flow. I love it so much. I appreciate you guys and everything, all the support, and we want to support you back. And we're excited to have you get back in Julian when we have it in October.
Cool. Yeah, it was really fun, and you guys did a great job. And the other thing that I don't know if it's relevant or important, but you both, no matter how challenging, like this happened or some issue with the food ran out or something, it was all very minor because it was such a success. But even in challenging times, you guys handled it like so perfectly. So like, okay, let's take care of this. And that's, I think, why it went so smoothly, because there was never no one was stressed out. There wasn't any stress. So everybody got to just like finally release. And it's been challenging time with the whole COVID and everything. So I think it was double dose.
Absolutely, and to just like to know that a space with that much unity exists is so refreshing, isn't it? It's so nice to be around that vibration of love and acceptance and acknowledgement, for wherever people are in their journey. And we had young and old from 4
so
up
interesting.
to
It was,
90, like wow, like so exactly, like it was more. The first event was more than we ever could have dreamed. I mean, we dreamed really big, and it was still so much more than we ever imagined.
awesome.
And I have to say, like, as long as we're on the topic, and this idea came to Jason and I, like, during a ceremony experience at the Fire Garden in last year, August of 2020.
Nice.
I never forget, we had this journey. The musicians had just played, and so the musician Capiac was playing acoustic all night long for us in this little dome, and we were partaking in ceremonial plant medicines, and all of a sudden just came through, just every heart and every mind will be healed. And that just stuck with me that night. And it was through that experience, through the removing a lot of the distortions and the illusions from the plant medicine, helped for me to remove those illusions. Clarify, decalcify my pineal gland, to open up and to allow me to see with my true eyes, my true spirit, right? Yeah.
And you can also I try to encourage people to unpack. And as they unpack, it just disappears, because it was nothing anyway, but they've been carrying around issues or whatever. And it's a great opportunity to completely dissolve all these things that you thought were important, that, maybe it took up 15 minutes, a half hour of your life 40 years ago, and you're still like, So it's nice to be able to go, oh my God, that was
it at all.
In perspective. There's a lot more. Every moment is so precious.
Do you, when you say unpack, is the same kind of as doing like shadow work, or what do you recommend for people who still have, because sometimes you could have something negative running through your head, or have a bad experience because of that. what do you say to people for those kind of experiences? If they, or maybe they don't seem ready at first,
Yeah.
right?
Didn't you have we were talking before, and you had like a bell, and you have a clearing with a certain ceremony that you do?
Mm,
Is that kind of
but
the
we
same?
do that in our Buddhist practice, but
No, it's different.
it's different. Yeah, when we used to go turn on, you would have your set and setting. We always made sure, and still to this day, you need to be somewhere where you can leave your body safely. You don't, it has to be, it can't be in where people are going to be stepping over you or something. You need to be where you can just lay back and be free to.
See, we operate from a base that you don't carry any of that negativity and stuff with you.
Right.
It's more to be here now with what's going on. And I have to say, through all our Buddhism that we learn, one thing great about the Buddhists is they have antidotes. They have antidotes for all your emotions. And if once you learn those, when you see an emotion surface like that, you can use an antidote to deal with it.
And that's like,
and at that point, it goes away.
that's like the psychedelic prayers too. They're like antidotes for if you have a challenging moment. But as far as what we're talking about, when I'm talking about baggage, it's, people bring in certain stuff with them from a past life, and, that affects them. And then they have to get therapy or whatever. Well, this is the quick fix if you want to just do it.
It's a way to kind of like fillet your soul and look at it and be like, all right, well, let's do this.
Yeah,
Let's
what's
kind of-
that?
Let's do this because you see it clearly. You can't fake it anymore. You can't hide
Right.
it with anything.
Right. Yeah.
can't
And you
get
see the
distracted by
mirror.
doing something else. It's here right now, and now you really know the truth about yourself and other things.
Yeah.
So kind of
Yeah.
like
You clean the mirror and you can see clearly. And I think it really does imprint so positively to fill every cell in your body with light and love. There isn't any room for negativity. And then your whole purpose is to make other people happy and serve other people and rejoice in other people's happiness. You get out of yourself. And that's another actual Buddhist concept, is that thinking of yourself brings suffering and thinking of others brings happiness. And it's really true.
So true.
Yeah. They put the words, what we were trying to say all those years.
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's great.
We said.
Yeah, Buddhism's kind of psychedelic, actually.
It is. I mean, it's when we become in service to others, it's where that true happiness really lies. I mean, it really is.
giving is
always
living.
giving to yourself all the time.
Giving is living.
Yeah, if you're giving to yourself, you're not really living fully.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of energetic blocks when you're just producing within yourself.
Yeah,
well,
it's true. Lama told a funny story one time when he was having this retreat. And he said, some people are so hung up on their possessions, like you do a little exercise where you pass it to something, your Rolex watch to him, and then he will pass it back. But he said there are some people where he has to start with them actually taking their watch and giving it to their other hand.
Wow.
And then giving it back to their other hand before they can finally hand it over. And he gives it back, but it's still, they can't do that. It's so funny. And that's what that's like. You have to get beyond that to where, not that you want to give all your stuff away, but anything you can do to help anybody, and anything you have, that you don't need, that you see someone else needs, give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Live in the flow. Don't live in a fear mindset by holding.
Yeah, let go, let God. That's a good one.
Something Jason and I talk about a lot is that I feel like part of the consciousness shift that's happening is that we're moving into more of a unity where it's an energy exchange more so than a monetary exchange, when we can really, we can actually live our entire lives out of energy exchanges if we all dealt in those exchanges, right?
Right.
We could have the utopia we wanted, where everybody gets what they need when they ask for it, if we all energetically exchange things.
Basically, right? we are the currency.
Yeah.
We are the currency. So whatever you are is the currency. Like, you made a book, that's not the currency, and the money's not the currency. It's because it's your book and your story. So you guys are the currency. You're just translating those into as tools to share. So it's like, we really are the currency. So I think the energy in, energy out, and appreciating that is really the key to some sovereignty and community, right?
Right. Yeah, sharing. It's all sharing. And that is actually why we wrote those books, to turn people on to that reality. And also Brotherhood Hashish was to really let people know what it was like, and why we did what we did, how devoted we were.
It's the only book out of maybe 4 or 5 books, maybe 50 articles, and I'm not kidding, just go online, you'll see them.
They're crazy.
That is true.
Yeah.
All that other stuff isn't. And it's really too bad, but we were just out of the picture for 15 years, and a lot of people came in and started writing stuff and acting like they knew, and acting like, you don't know how many people come up to us and say, oh yeah, my friend was in the Brotherhood, and we never heard of them. Oh, many people.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, consequently, a lot of bad stuff has come down the line. And if someone really wants to know what we're about, my book's going to probably be the only reference, because the couple of other people that are still alive, and even if they're trying to get a book out, they're not going to make it. I could see it. My book's going to end up being the only true story about the Brotherhood, which is really sad. There's a lot of things written about us. Like I said, probably 50 articles.
Yeah.
And
so bad.
But they've all got something distorted in it.
Well, someone started off with the stories when we weren't around. So they were their stories. You know what? It's your story. You don't have to put our name on it. It's good enough as it is for you. And that is what you did. And so I hope you had fun. And, so that happened, and then people wrote articles and interviewed those people thinking that they were us, and then that information got out there. And you know how research is. How do you do research? You look up all the other articles people have written. So then they put up this conglomeration of all the information they siphoned out of all these falsehoods, and write another. Just, we read them and we're just like, oh my God. They're still coming. They're still coming.
I saw one the other day, and they're the worst, but every new one's worse.
Every new one's worse, because everybody wants to put their twist on it. Like, if I was there, I would have, and no, you wouldn't if you really were there, because you would have been splattered.
Right.
It wouldn't have been the same. It wasn't.
We heard so many stories. We stopped in a real estate place up near our old ranch.
Oh, funny.
And the lady said, oh yeah, Timothy O'Leary used to live there. Well, his name's Timothy Leary for one thing. But anyway, she said, yeah, he put a 50-gallon drum of acid, a 50-gallon drum of hash, and a 50-gallon drum of $100 bills. He buried them up there.
Right.
And that was like Timothy never had acid or money.
What?
Yeah.
So there's
cool story.
Yeah, I know, but it's like,
oh, we've had people tell us, let's get a bulldozer. No, let's not.
Oh my God.
That's
it's
so crazy.
So ridiculous.
That's so good. You guys correct me.
Yeah,
we filter through all that stuff. You have to filter through all that stuff because.
Well, that's why we did the movie. That's why we wrote the book.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, you're doing that not for the ego that you did it. You're doing it for the right information out, because it is a spiritual and life-changing information for people to take and digest it, and you can help them digest things that they're going through.
And it was so profound that to clutter it up with falsehoods was just so not right, and especially when it really was our whole. Not that we want credit for it or anything else, but we certainly don't want lies told, out and out lies told about it. And us, I'm grandchildren.
Right.
And I did those things. So so we straightened it out, and it was good. It all went well.
We're so happy you did, because it's helped so many people, and it continues to, and will continue to. And it's just stamped in time forever. And it's just this beautiful story and beautiful journey that you two have been on. And we're so grateful and so honored that you get to share those experiences with everyone at the retreats and through your communities and beyond. So
it was so wonderful. It gave us faith to see the retreat.
Oh, thank you.
That there is a path, that people are still ready, willing, and able to learn. And you could see that even if a lot of people came there that had experiences, be isolated incidences in their life, and then they went back to their life, you could see that melt away at the retreat, to where when they left there, I was like, yeah,
everyone was shining.
Forever. You're a different person now. You can't go back. Once you realization's the key. Once you realize, you can't not see that. You can't not realize it again.
You can't unsee it anymore. Yeah, you can't unfeel what you felt. And I think that's the most transformative, amazing part. It's not like you get some sort of a hangover and you forget everything that you've gone through. It's like this, it's this magical, it just continues to expand and grow your consciousness, and I think I can tell you how many people have said that the weekend changed their lives, and
exactly, you can see
it. Wow, like, okay, one person, cool, but like 5 people telling me that their lives were changed over a weekend. One of my friends was like, I'm going vegan now. I'm not going to eat meat anymore. I talked to this woman and it changed my life, and I'm not going to. And I'm like, wow, like this is the healing. We don't know the form the healing is going to take, right? It just kind of comes in whatever the vessel is ready for.
So many people had so many different life-changing experiences with different aspects of it, because we're all part of the spectrum, but also is our chakra inside of us, right? So we all have blockages and things that need work on different types and different in our chakras that are blocked or whatever. So, for some people might have been your talk, and for some other people might have been getting, vibrational sound therapy, massage from sound therapy.
Well, even just, sorry to interrupt you, but even the fact that you had that wonderful person explain the chakras, because now things are like, oh, that's a cool wall hanging, and nobody even knows if it's upside down or not. And she explained all the chakras, and that's what we were into back in the day, was raising up your state of consciousness. You don't need to dwell in the lower chakras. You can move up, and then you can actually dwell there. The Tibetans only have the top 3. They don't even bother. They don't make the journey.
I heard that as you get older, I've heard that your 3 lower root chakras, your root and your sacral and your solar plexus, actually the energy starts to exchange into your higher chakras.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So as your energy vessel takes on so much energy, it starts to divert it.
I feel that right now.
It has to do with like some kind of mirror. Once you're so balanced, it doesn't, you're resonating. So it's like it can be flipped upside down, and you're going to be the same. Like you're resonating at a high frequency, and your chakras are all clear and open and on.
Right.
So as you mature, you can really just act in every way, and it's kind of like mirrors itself. I think it's kind of like,
we call that being lit up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
But just the fact that people could learn about the chakras and know that they have the power to move their energy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need to stay stuck somewhere. They can move that up and move it up. And that,
which is inner chi, right? Energy, inner chi. Right?
Something as simple as a thought, right? It's just a simple thought or a simple chant or an ask. Just ask for it. Hey, angels, come in here and help me balance this out.
Yeah, breathe.
It can be as easy as that. And I think it's so important, like you said, to have some people bringing knowledge of the chakras. And when we have the knowledge, we actually can dive deeper. I feel like we can when we have the understanding, we can visualize it and feel it and see it. Then when we are experiencing it, it becomes so much more visceral.
Yes.
You unlock much, much more that way.
Tibetans have lots of visualization. In fact, that's why everything's so colorful. You see behind it?
Oh, yeah.
Their visualization is like everything.
Mm-hmm.
It is everything. Yeah, we can.
Visualization is, then they manifest it from the knowledge of it, from knowing it. And then that visualization becomes whatever, love, they're all the different aspects of people are those, all of the
Patience,
all of the
gratitude.
Buddhists, they're an aspect of some wisdom. They're not just like people or something. They belong to part of the oneness. They represent it.
So it's
Yeah,
nice.
well, part of the 12 is part of the 12 personalities of the God energy, right? So it's across the 12 lines of spectrum, right?
I don't know about the 12, but
Well, the beauty also is that they know the journey of death. So when you're doing these visualizations and you become adept at using your breath, leaving your body, feeling like you're levitating, and knowing and being able to really visualize then and learning the deities when you pass away, what you're going to experience. And as psychedelic experience, a real psychedelic experience, you have a death experience. It is a death experience, just really like when you die, except you get to be reborn back in this body with all your stuff. You don't have to start over somewhere. So, that's really cool. You have a golden opportunity with this life, and not just by taking psychedelics, but by meditating or doing your breathing or doing your Kriya yoga or your other yoga, your prostrations, your chanting, whatever it is you're doing that's going to get you there will help you on your journey. It's all one big journey. It's not, there really isn't a past, a present, and a future. It's one big, gigantic moment that we're just
it's all one big day with little breaks.
Yeah, I'm looking for that break now a little bit. I wasn't before when I was younger. I was like, yeah. Now I'm all,
working on it. We appreciate you so much.
Huh?
We appreciate you so much. Thank you for chatting with us, and we want to have you back, and obviously we'll get together and do lunch hopefully soon.
Cool. Well, you guys are a really good team. You really paired up nicely and seem to really have your joint energies focusing towards one ultimate goal, and it's working.
I appreciate that.
Likewise to both of you as well.
Yes. We plug our books.
Oh.
Brotherhood Hashish, you can get it at
we can
you guys can post it. It's https brotherhoodhashish.website.
Perfect. Yeah,
so
we'll post up the information.
Website is all you really need to know. And the other one is From One Life to the Next. That's the one about us finding the reincarnations of our children, and actually proves reincarnation if you think you can prove reincarnation. And it's the same, it's reincarnationstory.website. Reincarnation Story and Brotherhood Hashish, just in case
website
wants to.
We also will be posting those to basically forward to those sites, so they don't have to remember both of them. If they don't have this, we'll have a replay as well.
Okay.
We'll have spectrum.com as well for you guys, and post it on there so they can also find it.
Well, even if they go on there, they can read the reviews and even if they don't buy the book, you learn a lot just from the site. So
yes, yeah, we'll send them over your way for you.
We love hearing from everybody. We love everyone's stories. They're so precious.
So, how's the baby?
Yeah.
Brother Jason just has a day-old baby since he was born yesterday.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Baby Atlas.
Baby Atlas. Atlas, August, and a Blue Magoon.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I had to say that.
Beautiful. She's my everything and doing well. Thank you.
Hey, that picture of the Buddha behind you would fit right on your beard.
It's almost like the Buddha has a beard.
There it is. There it is.
It's right there.
Oh, God.
That's great.
Okay. Hey.
Grizzly Adams doesn't have a beard.
Oh, yeah, so funny.
So that's it.
Right on. That's it.
We hope to see you at the next retreat, either as attendees or as speakers. If you'd like to come speak again,
Sure.
Always
We're
welcome.
up for anything. We're still forging ahead to turn people on. We really are. we're back.
Oh, what an
Yeah.
honor, and thanks
Well,
for
we
being on
got your
Mindshare.
back and we got your support, and we love the support you give us, and we appreciate the exchange and look forward to growing and bringing up.
It's been great
Okay,
getting
guys.
to know you guys.
Awesome.
you.
Likewise. All the love. In
Yeah.
every heart and every mind, we send all the
Every
love.
heart, every mind.
Yeah.
Spectrum.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Check it
Yeah,
out.
the triangle.
Oh, yeah. I like it.
Oh, you guys rock.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Love you.
Okay, love you
Good night,
guys.
everyone.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Thank you everyone for watching. See
Our
you again soon. See you tomorrow night. 7
Okay.
o'clock.